And we're back with another video tonight. Just wanted to come and share a word I had been reading in 2 Corinthians, and it's chapter 12, and it's verses 9 and 10. And it says this. This is just the gist of it. It says that God's strength is perfect in our weaknesses. So I want us to think about that, because the Apostle Paul writes, he says, "But he says to me, my grace is sufficient for you, that my power is made perfect in weakness." So I want us to think about that for a moment, because in our weaknesses, God's strength is made perfect. And if we think about that, is that when we are weak, he can give us strength. And that strength is perfected when we depend on him in our weaknesses. And what I mean by that is that we can have weaknesses in sadness. We can have weaknesses when we are down. We can have weaknesses in distress when things happen, even in persecution, as Paul talks about. But when we have those weaknesses, where we depend on God in those moments can bless us with strength. Because like he talks about, he says that it is perfect in our weaknesses. And I know I repeated myself, but think about this, is that God will help us and be there to see us through our trials and our weaknesses. Because people will think about weaknesses coming in bad moments, in which they do. But also, we can have weaknesses in good moments, because we may see it all the time in movies and also in real life, that a person can be at the height of their career or the height of their achievement. And we've even seen it in ministry, that they can be at the height of their ministry and a weakness comes or a temptation comes and then they fall. And not saying that anybody has to be perfect, but in our weaknesses, it's just to encourage us to depend on God's strength, because it is perfected when we do that. So just want to encourage you tonight with this word, and just read also 2 Corinthians chapter 12, because it's very encouraging what Paul is saying. But just think about, in our weaknesses, when we're tempted with things that sometimes we may not want to do, and they may come across us in life, and we have to stand up for what we believe. God will help us through those times, through those trials, through the things that we're going through that we are maybe struggling with. So the biggest thing is to be encouraged to depend on God's strength and not our own abilities, because sometimes we can get caught up in using our own abilities and forget that we have a God that we can depend on and his strength. So just be encouraged tonight that you have God, you have his strength, and you can depend on it, and it is perfected in our weaknesses. And I will see y'all next time.